Growing up, I always knew my family favored my older brother, Liam. It wasn't something they ever said out loud, but their actions made it clear. Liam was the golden boy, a charming, successful, and always the center of attention. Our father, John, worked tirelessly in business, and Mom, Ellen, made sure everything looked perfect, even when it wasn't. They poured all their energy into Liam's success while I was left on the sidelines. It wasn't that I resented Liam. He worked hard and his success in finance was impressive. I, on the other hand, pursued a career in IT, stable but far from glamorous. I didn't chase corporate prestige, but I made a decent living and stayed independent. Yet it felt like my efforts never really mattered to them. A few months ago, Liam landed a major promotion and our family gathered to celebrate. Everyone praised his dedication while I just sat there, feeling like an afterthought. Liam mentioned planning a luxury trip to Barcelona as a reward, and my parents glowed with pride. I forced a smile, trying to hide how left out I felt. Then came the real blow. A few days later, a package arrived at my place. Inside was a handwritten letter from Dad. I assumed it was a thoughtful note or a small gift. Instead, I read, "Ethan, we've been thinking about your situation and it's time for you to stand on your own. You've relied on us for too long. It's time to take responsibility. We love you, but you need to grow up." Dad. My hands trembled. Support? I never leaned on them financially. I paid my own bills and never asked for help. Meanwhile, they were about to spend thousands on Liam's trip while telling me to be responsible. The hypocrisy was crushing. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about all the times I had been treated as less important, as if my achievements didn't count. I wasn't the high-earning finance guy, but I wasn't a failure. Yet, they made it clear I wasn't their priority. Frustrated, I packed a bag and drove to my friend Jake's place. I didn't explain much, just that I needed a place to stay. Jake didn't push for details. He just let me crash on the couch and handed me a beer. That silence was what I needed. Days turned into weeks and I threw myself into job applications. I was determined to build something on my terms, away from the suffocating favoritism. I couldn't keep seeking their approval. I needed to create my path. One evening, my phone buzzed, a missed call from Mom. Then another from Dad. I didn't answer. Finally, a voicemail appeared. I hit play, my heart pounding. "Ethan, we're sorry. Please come back. We need to talk." I didn't respond. They didn't get to sweep this under the rug. I needed them to understand that I was done being overlooked. The first few weeks at Jake's place were tough. I felt like a ghost, drifting from one day to the next without a clear direction. Jake tried to pull me out of my shell, suggesting we go out or at least cook something that didn't come from a takeout box. But I wasn't ready to act like everything was normal. One evening, after another silent dinner, Jake sat across from me, his expression serious. "Ethan, I know you're hurting, but you can't just keep bottling it up. Talk to me, man." I looked at him, struggling to find the right words. "I just don't understand how they could think I'm the problem. I've been taking care of myself for years. I never asked for their help. But they act like I'm some kind of burden while they're off planning a vacation for Liam." Jake shook his head. "It's messed up. You've always been the responsible one. Maybe they just don't see it because Liam's achievements are more flashy." "Maybe," I muttered. "But it still doesn't make it right. I'm just tired of being treated like I don't matter." Jake leaned back, thoughtful. "You've always tried to prove yourself to them, right? Maybe it's time to stop proving and start living for yourself." His words hit home. I had spent so much energy trying to earn their approval, but it was never enough. No matter how stable my life was, it wasn't impressive in their eyes. I needed to stop chasing validation. The next day, I woke up with a bit more resolve. I spent hours polishing my resume and sent out applications to several companies. I couldn't keep stagnating. I needed a job that challenged me, and here I could grow without feeling overshadowed. Jake noticed the change and gave me an approving nod. A week later, I got a call from a tech startup downtown. They wanted an interview. For the first time in a long while, I felt a spark of excitement. I told Jake about it, and he practically dragged me out to celebrate. We hit a local bar, and as the night went on, I found myself enjoying the company. It was a small step, but it felt good to let go of the resentment, even just for a night. The following day, I prepared for the interview, feeling a mix of nerves and hope. Just as I was about to leave, my phone buzzed. It was a text from my mom. "Ethan, please come home. We miss you. Can we talk?" I hesitated, my thumb hovering over the reply button. Part of me wanted to go back, but I couldn't shake the feeling that they didn't really understand why I left. They probably just wanted to patch things up without really addressing the problem. I put the phone down and headed to the interview. At the office, I met with the hiring manager, Zoe, who seemed genuinely interested in my experience. We talked about my previous projects, and she seemed impressed by my initiative. The atmosphere was relaxed, so different from the pressure I always felt around my family. After the interview, Zoe smiled. "We'll be in touch soon. You seem like a great fit for the team." Walking out of the office, I felt a sense of accomplishment. For once, I was doing something entirely for myself, not to impress anyone else. I went back to Jake's place with a sense of relief. That evening, I finally opened the group chat with my family. The messages were a mix of apologies and confusion. Dad wrote that he didn't mean to hurt me, and Liam said he thought I was just being dramatic. My mom's messages were more pleading, asking me to at least call. I sighed and texted back. I'm not ready to come back. I need time. Please respect that. Within minutes, Dad replied, we just want to understand what went wrong. Come home so we can talk. But that was the problem, they didn't see what was wrong. They thought I just needed to calm down, not realizing how deeply I was hurt. I didn't reply. Instead, I focused on making dinner with Jake, trying to push the guilt aside. That night, as I lay in the guest room, I thought about how different my life could be if I just stopped letting their opinions dictate my worth. Maybe it was time to build something for myself, without constantly seeking their validation. The next few days were a mix of nervous energy and cautious optimism. After the interview, I couldn't stop replaying Zoe's encouraging words in my head. I had felt so out of place when I first left home, but now I was starting to see the possibilities of living independently, not just physically but emotionally too. Jake was proud of me. He kept saying that landing an interview so quickly was a good sign. I didn't want to get too hopeful, but it felt good to have someone believe in me without any judgment. He even helped me practice for potential follow-up interviews, throwing mock questions my way over late-night pizzas. One evening, while Jake was out, I decided to take a walk around the neighborhood. It wasn't my usual routine, but I needed fresh air. As I passed the small park at the end of the block, my phone buzzed. Another message from my dad. I stopped and leaned against a bench, hesitating before opening it. Ethan, please come home. Your mom is worried sick. We just want to talk and understand why you left. Let's fix this. Dad. I sighed, feeling the familiar knot of guilt. I knew they were worried, but I also knew that going back without addressing the real issue would only lead to the same cycle. I couldn't keep being the invisible son. When I got back, Jake was home, and he must have noticed the tension on my face. Another message? He asked, handing me a soda. Yeah, I muttered. Dad says they want to understand why I left. But how can I explain years of feeling second best in a single conversation? Jake shrugged. Maybe you don't have to. Maybe it's not about explaining but making them realize that your feelings matter, too. They might never fully get it, but they need to know you're not just going to take it anymore. His words made sense, but I wasn't sure I was ready to confront them. Instead, I focused on the present. 2 days later, I got a call from Zoe. My heart raced as I answered. Hey Ethan, I have good news. We'd like to offer you the position. Your experience and attitude really impressed us. For a moment, I was speechless. I had been so used to feeling overlooked that I didn't know how to react when someone actually valued me. That's amazing. Thank you, I managed to say. Zoe gave me the details, and as I hung up, I couldn't help but smile. It wasn't just about the job. It was about proving to myself that I could thrive without bending over backward for someone else's approval. When I told Jake, he nearly knocked me over with a congratulatory hug. I knew it, man. You deserved this. Finally, someone who sees what you're worth. His enthusiasm made me laugh, and for the first time in weeks, I felt genuinely happy. That night, we celebrated with takeout and cheap beer. It wasn't extravagant, but it was real, and it was mine. Later, as I lay in bed, I couldn't help but think about my family. Part of me wanted to call and share the news. After all, I still loved them despite the hurt. But another part of me knew that rushing back just because something good happened would undermine everything I'd fought for. I needed to keep moving forward on my terms. The next morning, I made a decision. I would reach out, but only to set boundaries. I couldn't just slip back into the old dynamic where my achievements didn't count. I texted Dad. I got a new job. I'm doing okay. I'm not ready to come back. But I wanted you to know that I'm moving forward. His response came within minutes. Proud of you, Ethan. We're here when you're ready. It was short, but it felt genuine. I wasn't sure if they fully understood yet, but it was a start. I was making progress, and for once, I was proud of myself too. A few days later, Zoe called again, inviting me to meet the team before officially starting. I was nervous, but Jake's pep talk boosted my confidence. Walking into that office, I realized that this was more than just a job. It was my chance to define myself without being overshadowed. As I got to know my new colleagues, I felt a sense of belonging that I hadn't felt in a long time. They were curious about my ideas and treated me like a valuable addition. I couldn't help but feel grateful for taking that step, even when it scared me. That night, I messaged Jake to thank him for pushing me to keep going. His reply was simple. Told you, man. You've got this. I went to sleep that night feeling lighter. I wasn't just trying to prove myself to my family anymore. I was building something for myself, and that was worth every struggle. The first week at my new job was both exciting and intimidating. Zoe introduced me to the team, and they welcomed me warmly, which was a change from the strained atmosphere I had grown up with. During the first team meeting, I shared some ideas on optimizing their internal software. To my surprise, they listened. Not just the polite kind of listening, but genuine interest. I couldn't help but think about how rare that felt at home. Back there, it seemed like anything I said just floated past, unnoticed. Here, people actually asked questions and built on my suggestions. For the first time in a long time, I felt seen. After work, I met up with Jake at our usual spot. I couldn't hide my excitement as I recounted how well the first few days had gone. "That's what I'm talking about." Jake grinned. "See, you've always had it in you. You just needed a place that recognized it." "Yeah," I agreed, though the thought of my family still lingered. I hadn't talked to them since that brief text exchange with Dad. Part of me wondered if they were just waiting for me to come crawling back. That evening, back at Jake's place, I opened the family group chat. As expected, messages had piled up, mostly from Mom. She kept asking when I would come home, saying they missed me, but the words felt more about their comfort than actually understanding why I left. One message stood out, though. "Ethan, we know we hurt you. Please let us talk. We didn't realize how much we were neglecting your feelings. Love, Mom." I sat there staring at it, unsure how to respond. Did they really get it? Or were they just saying what they thought would bring me back? I didn't want to rush into anything. Jake noticed me spacing out and nudged me. "Thinking about your family again?" "Yeah. Mom says they want to talk, but I don't know if they actually understand why I left." Jake nodded. "You don't owe them a quick fix, man. Take your time. If they really care, they'll wait until you're ready." That gave me some peace of mind. I decided not to reply just yet. Instead, I put my energy into adjusting to my new routine. The next week at work, Zoe asked me to take charge of a small project, a data migration that needed restructuring. I was nervous but also proud that she trusted me enough to lead. Diving into the project, I worked late a few nights, feeling more productive than I had in years. The sense of purpose I had been missing was slowly coming back. My coworkers pitched in whenever I needed help, and for once, I wasn't afraid to ask for support. One afternoon, Zoe pulled me aside. "You've been doing great, Ethan. I can see you're passionate about your work. Just remember to balance it out. Don't burn yourself out. Okay?" Her concern felt genuine, and it made me pause. I realized that my drive to prove myself had pushed me into overworking, something I used to do at home, trying to be useful enough to matter. "Thanks, Zoe. I'll make sure to take breaks," I promised. Later that night, as I prepared dinner with Jake, I shared what Zoe had said. He smirked. "You've always done that, throwing yourself into work to feel valued. Maybe now it's time to find balance, not just in your job, but with your family too." He was right. If I wanted to move forward, I needed to confront my family eventually. Maybe not right away, but running from the problem wasn't helping me heal. I drafted a message to Mom, keeping it short but honest. "I'm not ready to talk face to face yet, but I'm working on it. I just need more time. I hope you understand." The response came quickly. "Take all the time you need. We just want to know you're okay. We love you, Mom." For once, I didn't feel pressured to come back or explain myself. It felt like progress. I didn't know if they fully understood yet, but at least they were giving me space. That night, as Jake and I watched some mindless TV show, I felt a sense of relief. Setting boundaries didn't mean cutting ties, it meant protecting my peace. I wasn't ready to rush back into the old dynamics. I needed them to see that my choices were about growth, not just rebellion. As the weeks went by, my routine became more manageable. Mornings were filled with coffee and quick chats with Zoe, while afternoons were all about problem solving and coding. The data migration project I was leading was progressing smoothly, and the team's collaboration made me feel like I belonged. One afternoon, as I was double-checking some code, Zoe stopped by my desk. "Hey, Ethan. Got a minute?" "Sure," I said, setting my keyboard aside. She smiled. "I just wanted to let you know that the project is getting great feedback. The way you streamlined the process saved us a lot of time." "Nice work." A sense of pride welled up inside me. "Thanks, Zoe. It's been a good challenge." "You're fitting in well here," she added, then hesitated. "I know you're new, but there's a company retreat next month. It's a chance to bond with the team outside of work. Think you'd be interested?" The idea of a retreat made me pause. I wasn't used to team-building events, and the thought of spending a weekend with people I just met was a bit intimidating. "Yeah, sounds good. I'll think about it," I replied. "No pressure," Zoe said, patting my shoulder before walking off. Later that night, I brought it up to Jake while we were making dinner. "A retreat? Sounds fun," Jake grinned. "Maybe," I said, chopping vegetables. "I'm just not sure. I barely know these people outside of work." Jake laughed. "That's the point, man. You get to know them better. Besides, it sounds like they already like you. Maybe it's time to take another step." His words stuck with me. Taking steps forward had been my goal since leaving home, but I was still hesitant. I didn't want to rush into new relationships when the old ones felt so tangled. That night, I got another text from Mom. "We're so proud of you for getting that job. Your dad talks about you more now. He misses you. We both do. Please let us know when you're ready to talk." It wasn't demanding or guilt-tripping, it just felt honest. I stared at the screen, unsure how to feel. The guilt I usually felt wasn't there this time. Instead, it was replaced by a cautious sense of relief. Maybe they really were starting to understand. The following weekend, Jake and I decided to hike up to a nearby viewpoint. As we reached the top, breathing hard but satisfied, Jake pulled out his phone and snapped a picture. "New chapter, new you," he joked. I rolled my eyes. "Maybe. Still figuring it out." "You're doing better than you think," he said seriously. "Sometimes you just need to let people in, even the ones who hurt you. But on your terms." It hit me that Jake was right. I'd been so focused on proving I didn't need my family that I hadn't considered that moving forward didn't have to mean cutting them out entirely. A few days later, I decided to message Mom. "I'm doing okay. Work's going well. I'm not ready to come back, but I'd be open to talking soon. Maybe a phone call first?" Her response was almost immediate. "We'd love that. Just let us know when you're ready. Love you." I felt a knot loosen in my chest. It wasn't a resolution, but it was a start. I realized that reconciling with them didn't mean sacrificing my independence. It just meant trying to understand each other. At work, I decided to sign up for the retreat. Zoe seemed genuinely pleased when I told her. "Great choice. It'll be good for you and for the team," she said with a thumbs up. That evening, I couldn't help but feel a little proud. I was starting to embrace new opportunities rather than shrinking from them. Even if things with my family were complicated, I didn't have to put my life on hold. A few days later, Dad sent me a message. "Take your time, son. I understand more now. I just want you to know that I respect your decision to find your own way. We'll be here when you're ready." It was the first time I felt like he wasn't pushing me. It took me a minute to process that maybe, just maybe, they were starting to see me differently, not as someone who needed fixing, but as someone finding his own path. As I sat on the balcony that night, I reflected on how much had changed since I left home. I wasn't just the son who felt overlooked, I was Ethan, building a life where my choices mattered. I still had a long way to go, but for the first time I was moving in the right direction. The weeks leading up to the company retreat flew by. I focused on my project, making sure everything was on track before I left. Zoe appreciated my dedication but kept reminding me to balance work with relaxation. I was starting to realize that pushing myself too hard wasn't a sign of strength, it was a sign of fear. Fear of being overlooked, fear of not being enough. Jake drove me to the retreat site, a rustic lodge by the lake. As we pulled up, I couldn't help but feel a little anxious. "You'll be fine," Jake reassured me. "Just be yourself. They already like you." I nodded, trying to swallow the knot in my stomach. As I grabbed my bag, Jake grinned. "Remember, don't overthink it. Just let people get to know you." Inside, the place was buzzing with activity. Zoe spotted me and waved me over to the registration table. "Glad you made it, Ethan. We're just getting started. Go find your cabin and drop your stuff." I followed her directions, finding my room already filled with a few familiar faces. One of them, Mark from IT, greeted me with a fist bump. "Ethan, didn't think you'd show up," he teased. I laughed, feeling a bit more at ease. "Yeah, trying something new." Throughout the day, we participated in team-building exercises, kayaking, problem-solving games, and a surprisingly competitive round of trivia. I was paired with Mark for most of the activities, and it turned out we had more in common than I thought. By evening, I was genuinely enjoying myself. That night, around the campfire, Zoe encouraged everyone to share a bit about their personal journey. When it was my turn, I hesitated. I'm not usually one to open up, I started, glancing at the flickering flames. But recently, I've been trying to figure out how to move forward, how to stop feeling like I'm constantly in someone else's shadow. This job has been a big step for me. It's the first time I felt like I'm building something on my own. There was a quiet moment, then Zoe spoke up. "That's really brave to admit. We're glad you're here, Ethan." Others murmured their agreement, and for once, I didn't feel awkward being vulnerable. Afterward, as people dispersed, Mark sat down next to me. "I get it, man," he said. "I've got an older brother who's a rock star in his field." For a while, it felt like I couldn't measure up. But eventually, I realized that just because we're on different paths doesn't mean I'm any less successful. His words resonated with me. I'd been so focused on proving myself that I never stopped to consider that being different from Liam wasn't a flaw, it was just reality. The next morning, while sipping coffee on the lodge's deck, I got a text from Dad. "Thinking of you today. Hope you're doing well. Just wanted to say I'm proud of you for finding your way." I didn't reply right away, but I felt a warmth that hadn't been there before. Maybe they were starting to see me for who I was, not just who they thought I should be. When the retreat wrapped up, Zoe pulled me aside. "You did great out there. I know it's not easy stepping out of your shell, but you really connected with everyone." I smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "Thanks, Zoe. It actually felt good to just be myself." "That's the whole point," she said. "People appreciate you for who you are. You don't have to prove anything." On the drive back, I shared the retreat experience with Jake, who couldn't help but laugh at my awkward attempts at kayaking. "See? You put yourself out there, and look what happened. People like the real you." It dawned on me that maybe I didn't have to force acceptance. Maybe just being myself was enough. That evening, I finally called my mom. It was short and a little awkward, but it was a start. "Hi, Mom. Just wanted to check in. I'm doing well. Work's been good." Her voice cracked a bit. "Oh, Ethan, it's so good to hear your voice. We've missed you." "I know," I said. "I just needed some space. I'm trying to figure things out." "We understand," she replied. "Just take your time. We're proud of you." After hanging up, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. It wasn't a perfect conversation, but it was honest. I didn't need everything to be fixed right away, I just needed progress. That night, I finally felt like I was moving forward, not just in my career but in how I valued myself. It wasn't about proving anything to anyone anymore. It was about accepting that I was enough, just as I was. Returning from the retreat, I felt lighter, like a burden I'd carried for years was finally starting to ease. Back at the office, I noticed how my coworkers treated me differently, not because I'd changed, but because I'd let myself be more open. It felt good not to hide behind my own insecurities. A few days later, I got another message from Dad. "Whenever you're ready, we'd love to see you. No pressure. We just want to talk." I took a deep breath. I wasn't sure I was completely ready, but I wanted to keep moving forward. That evening, I called Dad. "Hey, Dad." There was a pause, and then his voice softened. "Ethan, it's good to hear from you. How's work?" "It's going well. I'm actually leading a project," I said, trying to keep my tone steady. "I'm really proud of you," he said, and I could hear the sincerity in his voice. "I didn't realize how much I was pushing you away. I just wanted you to know that I'm trying to understand." It was the first time I'd heard him admit that. I didn't know how to respond, so I just said thanks. That means a lot. We talked for a while, nothing too deep, just catching up. It felt natural, not forced, and I was grateful for that. After the call, I sat with Jake, sharing how it went. "That's big," Jake said. "You didn't just reconnect, you set the terms. That's progress." "Yeah," I admitted. "I think they're starting to get it." A few days later, I met up with Zoe and Mark after work for drinks. We laughed about the retreat and the chaotic trivia game, and for once, I didn't feel like I was just tagging along. I belonged. That night, I sent a message to the family group chat. "I'm okay. Work is good. I'm not ready to visit yet, but I'm getting there. Thank you for giving me space." The responses were immediate and supportive. It wasn't perfect, but it was a step forward. As I settled into my new routine, I knew that this was just the beginning. My family and I still had things to work out, but I was confident now that it didn't have to be rushed. I was building my own life, one where I was valued for who I was, not for how I measured up to someone else. And for the first time in a long while, that felt enough. Hope you enjoyed this story as much as I do. Help this small channel grow by hitting that like button, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. Every bit of support means the world. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.